Alright, back to Garage Mahal. Today we are working on a 2008 Dodge Avenger that needed a rear strut. And I picked up a Monroe Roadmatic strut and shock. I guess you call it a quick strut. And I already did one side. So I wanted to see how much fun that was going to be. But anyway, I'll show you a couple things we're going to do first. And first and foremost is you want to take your Avenger up on the lift, or you want to jack the side up. And if you look on top, I already took all the inside of the trunk out. It was basically three pieces. You have one piece on one side, one piece on the other side, then a center piece. Why you end up having to do that is because behind the side panel, and there's a bolt there, and there's a bolt there that holds the strut in. So you're basically going to be loosening those up. But before we get to that, we are going to take the wheel off. Alright, then taking the wheel off. That gets the garage door out of the way. And give you an idea of the difference. That is your old strut, and then that is your new strut. And the most important thing is to make sure that they line up where it's going to basically attach to the underbody and then attach to the bottom of the sway arm. But anyway, that actually took me 3 days to track down the right one. And on Amazon or your local parts store, you can probably get them for about 80-90 bucks a piece. The original strut, they want 400 and change, and supposedly when I called, there's only 33 left in stock in the entire country, and they're actually discontinuing that strut for the 2008 Avenger. It spans a couple years that it fits, but just to kind of give you a heads up, so if you want the original Mopar Dodge strut, it's going to set you back a couple bucks. But anyway, so after you get the covering out, which is all up there, three pieces, pretty easy. You want to go in here, loosen that bolt for that strut, and then come around to the rear passenger side. Pull your rear seat down like I've done already, and basically the bolt is right there, if you can see it. Hopefully you got a good camera angle on it. Alright, and that's the other bolt. Put that over there. We got new ones coming. And that is the old strut that we're going to be taking out. Now, it got a little complicated when I was doing it before. because you'll see when I got the jack in place, because that was a little bit of a bear to get going. And I don't think we'll need this light. I'll put that over here for now. Just some minor hand tools you're going to need. An 18mm socket, extended socket, and I always like to wear hearing protection because these things get all sorts of noisy. But basically, there's a nut. You're going to take this knuckle out and then that one on that side. And the reason why you're doing this is you'll see you're going to actually have to jack it up and put some pressure on this to raise that up higher so you can get to that strut bolt. And then you're going to have to put some shims on because that new strut is going to be a little bit different when it comes down to right here where it joins in. But you'll see once I get that going. Anyway, all right, put hearing protection on. You need a breaker bar. And I'm just using this to stabilize the bolts when I'm taking them loose. So, put the breaker bar on that side. Make sure that's on the right way. So that came down. We're going to loosen the tension on this other side of the strut. Breaker board there. Take that knot off, no problem. I'm going to tap that bolt out. Up, put that over on that side. That bolts out, and then your whole strut comes down, the old one. I guess we'll just finagle this out. And this is where I wanted to show you the difference on this. So these two ends, see how you're going to have to shim that up. But anyway, figured out ahead of time that it's basically going to be 7 washers on each side. And these are your washers that I used. So they're basically 1.25 inches by 1/2 inch in the middle. And to make things easier, I'm going to use some Scotch tape. So it's 7 on either side. I'm basically taping them together, kind of like you're making a roll of quarters. And then I just kind of fold it in. So it's going to be your spacers. I guess if you wanted to, you could probably glue these together, but tape is kind of quick and easy, and eventually they will rust together like any other part of the automobile. Put those there. Alright, so back to it. So your strut. Alright, just take the nuts out real quick. And then on this strut, the way, make sure you got it angled right. So this little point goes in towards the body of the car. Basically slip it up real quick. Actually, put it in the bottom here. And then a quick trick that I use, because you're going to want it to stay mounted up in there, is I use a jack and a 2x4. I use this for two things. And we're going to jack it up a little bit. Alright, so put it right about there. I'll mount it. Balance it on that jack. Then we'll push it up just enough to kind of take the pressure off. So now we can screw it all back down. Do the inside first. Just get it hand tight. Ratchet. Torque that out good. Alright, let's get on the other side. Good. Torque that down. Okay. Okay. That's torqued out. And basically you are done in the trunk. Make sure you put a torque wrench on everything at the end. Make sure it's spec'd out correctly. Alright, so this is the fun part where we're going to put these spacers in. Drop this. put this in. Oh, that's the other knuckle side. That's a strut one. Hopefully you can see in here. But I'm basically sitting that. Set of washers in. Little hammer action. So if you can see in there, that's all the way through. Let's see how I have washers and spacers in there. Keep everything good. I'm just going to hand tighten it for now. And I'll torque everything out, but then we got to get this back on. So we'll just use that to give us a little bit more light, so you guys can see what's going on there. Get it back to the jack. I put a 2x4. Now, there's a lot of compression, so you got to make sure that you are as squared up as you can be, and straight up and down. And this is where it gets a little hairy, but if you're doing it by yourself, I have not found an easy way to really do this. Okay, you want to get it as, you want to slowly jack that in. Then you're going to have a little bit of movement. Alright, what I usually do is I go down, put pressure down, then I'm just going to screwdriver part way in. Then go back in from behind. Get that bolt going. Squirt the little WD down that hole. And with the hammer, and that pops it pretty close. And what I do is I just put the impact wrench on it, just give it a little bit of a spin, and that seats it nice. And then now you can take that off. And see, it's just enough to take the pressure off that. Nothing crazy. So be careful and be safe. Then we'll put that hand tight. Then we'll torque that out. Grab my hearing protection. Get that bottom knuckle bolt, torque wrench. All right, set that to 2. So that's good, nice and torqued. We'll do the same thing on the strut. Alright, and that is your new strut. Alright, that's all you need. This I like to make sure is set up pretty good. Once weight goes on, that's going to go right back up in there, but always make sure you got your foam set nice and safe. And then once weight gets on that, the cover will come down and will cover that little section right there. But other than that, that's it. That's all there is to it. Hope you liked the video. Put any comments or questions down at the end, and thank you for subscribing and liking this video. Alright, have a great day. Be safe.